I don't think many of us here in Northern Colorado will ever forget the summer of 2012. We have those images of the orange skies. We have the memories of our family and friends and coworkers who had to evacuate from their homes. We had people who couldn't be outside for weeks on end due to the poor air quality. And we had just a feeling here in the community that there was a danger and there was some fear of what this community was going to be going through.
When that started on that first day, we had no idea this was going to be anything more than our average wildfire.
I responded the first day, Saturday morning I was up there, and I was driving from Stove Prairie school area down Risk Canyon, and there were flames behind me on either side of the road. The fire itself, we ultimately had over 2,000 firefighters on the fire, plus our deputies. The National Guard came out to assist with roadblocks and security in the area. So you end up assembling really, I'm not even sure it's a small army, really a medium-sized army, if you will, overnight to respond to this.
The point that I looked at the fire and really felt almost hopeless was at the end of week 2. We'd been through 2 solid weeks of fire that just moved any direction it wanted to move. The weather really drove it. And we got to the point that they had made some good advancements. The fire crews were doing an outstanding job. However, despite all their efforts, 2 weeks into it on a Friday, it jumped the canyon, jumped the Poudre Canyon into Glacier View, and hundreds of fire personnel had laid out hoses and done a lot of structure protection work, but the wind had beat us that day. I have to admit, that was one of those days I sincerely thought that the whole county would burn before the summer was up, and it was a tough time.
Evacuations were very active at that point. Certainly thousands of citizens were evacuated due to this fire. Kids left toys behind, individuals left important family heirlooms that they may not have been able to get out in time.
I can tell you one of the things that was so amazing was despite the fact that people's homes had burned, when we went and met with them, even when we had to break the sad news that their homes were gone, they put an arm on our shoulders and thanked us for our work. It was also very impressive to see how not only northern Colorado, but just Coloradans in general came together. Children with signs thanking the firefighters, thanking everybody who was putting such an effort out there. Those things really help people get through, and they demonstrated what community is really all about.
And certainly I'm certainly by no means a hero, but I've had the opportunity to work among heroes, and just seeing these responders work and do their jobs is something I'll never forget, both on the High Park fire and also on the Woodland Heights fire up in Estes Park.
There were a significant number of acts of heroism that occurred by all kinds of folks, but 2 of them certainly stand out. During High Park, Emergency Services Specialist Justin Weitzel and his attempt to save Linda Stedman, and then during the Woodland Heights fire, Sergeant Tim Sullivan and his efforts to get in and warn all the residents and show them the way out of the flames. Those 2 acts went above and beyond everything else we saw, because both of those individuals truly risked life and limb to help their community in ways that just weren't even expected.
The Community Foundation has a history of stepping up and to serve a leadership role during times like this in our community. Whether it was the flood of '97 or the fires of 2012, the Community Foundation has brought together people and resources to help solve the problems and challenges that we have here in our region.
So for those weeks after the fire, when we had our runoff events after our thunderstorms, the water had so much ash in it, it was untreatable. And some of our partners with the agencies in the Front Range have indicated that even if we try to treat this water, it may create a carcinogen. That alone is enough to give us the clue that we need to do something to restore this watershed. And so dozens of organizations got together, and volunteers and funders, to do something about this issue right in our own backyard. We need literally millions of seeds for this restoration effort, and thousands and thousands of bales of straw, thousands of feet of erosion control materials. So the Community Foundation, along with some other of their partners, have been instrumental in providing those resources so that when volunteers show up, they actually have restoration materials to work with.
Serve 6.8 has been able to partner with the Red Cross, with United Way, and with other agencies to provide direct services to families, over 60 families at this point, to do all kinds of things, providing for their financial needs, just coming around them and supporting them in a number of different ways. We've had over 100 volunteers log over 16,000 hours of volunteer service directly serving families that have been impacted by the fires. This is an incredibly collaborative community. People want to work together. They want to bring resources together and not work separately so that we can be more effective and more efficient with the limited resources that are available.
To be of help, there were several funds that were established at the Community Foundation to serve the fire relief efforts. We had the Serve 6.8 fund. We also had the Make It Rain fund that was established as a result of the concert that was held out at the ranch at the end of July. And we also had the High Park Fire Restoration Fund. We were very involved with the Colorado Fire Relief Fund. That was a fund established at the request of the governor. And we had a local committee that was in charge of making the grants from that fund. United Way is the fiscal sponsor for the Long-Term Recovery Group, and we've made grants to United Way to support that effort. We've made numerous grants from donor-advised funds to various agencies here in northern Colorado. And when we step back and look at the big picture, we see that altogether, the Community Foundation has been involved with dispersing more than $630,000 for fire relief efforts here in northern Colorado. The Community Foundation's mission is to build a more engaged and philanthropic and visionary community. And so even though the summer of 2012 brought tragedy to our community in many ways, this was also a time to be thankful for and celebrate the giving that came out of that tragedy. We're thankful that so many people came together and worked with the Community Foundation and so many other agencies to make this a better place for all of us.